There is a plan of building 100 environmentally friendly cities in China without any traffic lights and without any traffic jam potentials. Everybody would want to get out of the street. There are no ways that jams could occur. All you have to do is build proper flyovers, roads, and this is something we have to do, although it wouldn't happen overnight, but this will relieve us a lot and will give people work and will benefit everybody. There are many things to be done, so I won't accept anybody saying there must be unemployment, providing we think very honest and openly to find jobs for other people. Before we properly reach it, there would be clashes and strikes here and there.
But the fact is, if anything, the more and more strikes we see and the more and more tensions between workers and employers. Now, how to find a balance where both workers and employers work as a team and see and have the same objectives, the same vision, so that there is no more need for strikes?
I can see that the current situation will go on for the next 30 years. By that time, we will have a new conflict-free way of communicating. We will establish all our life and problems in a triangle. The triangle represents different levels of our life, social and other. First side of the triangle will represent the workers or NGOs. The second side will represent the capital owners or employers, and the third one will represent the administration from local up to national level. We will hold meetings within such triangle on different places. We will choose which computer will be used to carry, and participants representing each side will voice their demands through computer, using their own CDs, and all the data will be entered into the computer.
A więc związki swoje, pracodawcy swoje, co sobie życzą, administracja jak ma to zrobić. Wrzucamy do komputerów.
Then the computer will ask how many variants of solution do you want the computer to provide you with. Next question will be when will we meet again to decide of which of these variants to implement. Using this way, there wouldn't be any unnecessary emotions involved. Everything will be fully calculated by the computers without any necessity to strike, and this will be a very wise solution for all the parties. And I can see this happening in the next 30 years. Until then, whoever feels stronger and powerful will win.
Okay, interesting. When you mentioned the word solidarity, you were the father of the Polish solidarity movement. Would a solidarity type movement, such as the one you founded, still work in today's situation, global situation?
Solidarity is needed in every place of the world. Solidarity means when we cannot lift or carry burdens ourselves, then we ask others to join in and help us out. In that sense, solidarity is needed in every country because there are so many different burdens that people cannot lift individually. We may also need continental or even global solidarity. First, we need to identify the problem when we need others to join us in order to be able to cope with the problem. My solidarity task was to lift communism up and throw it away to the rubbish pit, and that's what we did. And they had troops, tanks, nuclear weapons, and we had nothing, but we managed to throw them away to the rubbish pit. This goes to say that solidarity can be that strong.
Do you see more solidarity now in this? We see globalization now, but do you see solidarity?
Not yet, because we have not yet identified which issues we want to be in solidarity, because we don't need to be in solidarity regarding everything. So the first task is to identify issues requiring global solidarity. I don't want them to multiply too much. 5 should be enough. And then we need to identify issues needed to be addressed continentally, then narrowing solidarity within particular country. The next step is to establish institutions and structures to deal with these solidarities. Not the other way around, like in Europe, where we have appointed the President of Europe and later to decide his scope of responsibilities. This is the wrong way around.
In Indonesia, there are now more than 180 trade unions representing 3.4 million out of 32 million workers employed in the formal sector. The huge number of trade unions presents its own problems, as often they lack a coherent strategy in addressing labor issues.
Gerakan buruh di dunia, di Nigeria, di Amerika Latin, ya kita di Indonesia diinspirasi oleh perjuangan La Walesa. Apa yang kita lihat waktu itu, Seperti yang dia bilang tadi, kita tahu walaupun dia selalu diikuti, dikepung oleh ribuan militer, dia tidak pernah melawan dengan kekerasan, tapi dia tetap menyuarakan, memperjuangkan kepentingan buruh itu. Nah, yang mau diambil pelajaran adalah tentu memang buruhnya di sana bersatu, memilih partai yang didirikan oleh buruh bersama, lalu perbaikan buruh itu signifikan terjadi. Buruh kita di sini tidak bersatu, pilihan politiknya berbeda-beda, memang sangat signifikan kondisi hidup buruh yang tidak baik di sini. Pelajaran yang perlu kita sampaikan bagi rakyat, bagi buruh Indonesia, mari kita bersatu. Boleh kita berbeda-beda serikat buruh, tetapi hal-hal yang fundamental mensejahterakan buruh itu kita harus bersatu. Misalnya outsourcing, jam sostek, di bidang politik kita harus, undang-undang yang membuat buruh menderita kita harus bersatu untuk menggantinya, melawannya.
Like corruption, for example, is very much rife in Indonesia.
Because there are no democratic instruments in place to control that, or perhaps you did not elect properly.
I think a lot of things can be improved quite quickly. And actually the only thing for you is to desire, to want to do things, and then your Indonesia will...
During his visit in Indonesia, President Lech Walesa shared his message in lectures at a number of universities, public venues, as well as the presidential palace. I was fortunate enough to attend one of his dinner lectures in which he talked about solidarity movement and the need for societies to unite in order to change. Crucial messages indeed in these times where differences are often viewed as more important than similarities and where conflict gets more attention than efforts to create peace.
So the lecture you brought here is Solidarity Movement in Uniting Society for Change. Now, what solidarity, which you mentioned about identifying the solidarity, and then what change are we talking about? What is the essential message of your lecture?
Wiem pani, że trzeba wypunktować tematy.
As I was saying before, we need to identify which issue we need to be involved in solidarity. As is the case of Indonesia, I haven't had the chance to identify what the issue is. My message is not to feel discouraged, to believe in yourself and to establish solidarity for your own challenges.
Solidarność jak ja założyłem. Ja w Europie mogę powiedzieć, bo znam bardziej Europę.
In Europe, I know what challenges require solidarity.
Wykonać dwa tematy. Granice spowodowały nierówny
The first issue is the border, which has left Europe in great disproportion in the development of Europe.
Zróbmy tak, żeby się wszystkim opłacało.
Our task is to level those disproportions, perhaps by having the same roads throughout Europe or network of rails for the whole continent, or air traffic, or evenly spread bus.
Żeby ładnie to wyglądało i było efektywne. Może samoloty.
Then the next task is that we need to realize that we all don't get the same from God.
Zacznijmy wyrównywać. To jest jeden temat. A drugi, zwróćmy uwagę, że
When I say God is the same God for all religion, only in different names, He hasn't given us the same.
On jest jeden dla nas wszystkich. Ale
Some have been given the mountains, some the seas, others plain. So we need to calculate the potential we have throughout Europe and make the assumption that everyone is absolutely essential, that we need to arrange things so everybody will be profitable in whatever they assign to do. Once again, computers can help to work to everybody's benefit. However, if we continue with this disproportion, for example, if we move whole factory to other place where labor is cheaper, then that will not be beneficial for everybody. We should have a different approach.
opłaca, to temu się nie opłaca. Co to za robota? A to wszystko się bierze z tamtej epoki, tej rywalizacji,
So in the
ucieczki,
case of
podboju,
Europe, I would
wojen.
say we need solidarity for those two tasks.
At the time of the rise of Solidarność in 1980s, many of today's young generation were too young or not even born yet to understand the significance of Wawense's solidarity movement. However, his words were not lost and continue to inspire those young people who managed to attend one of his lectures.
Amazing people like him come to our university and giving lectures. The first thing that I get is determination. People like him are always determined to reach their dreams, to push whatever they believe. And yeah, it's really inspiring. I mean, he's done so much. He's put under surveillance. He has got laid off from his jobs just because he was involved in many activities like that before. He's very determined. I heard that he doesn't believe in communism as the world economic system. He doesn't believe in all total capitalism as in world economic system. And actually, personally, I agree to that viewpoint. I agree that we have to fall in between those economic systems. And I also agree that he wants to promote democracy. He has a very strong viewpoint and perspective. Yeah, it really inspires me.
But Indonesia has only been democratic for a decade. How do you see Indonesia? How is it doing?
Democracy is made of three components. The first is legal regulation that allow democracy. The second component is the right of people to enjoy democracy, because not everybody cares about democracy. The third component is the size of everybody's bank account. You cannot really enjoy democracy if you don't have the money, if you don't have a job, or if you are worried somebody will fire you. So if you refer to democracy in your country, you need to check which components are in place here and which are missing. For example, in Iraq, America introduced democracy, whereas the people say, we don't want to, we want to shoot one another. So would we judge it as a democratic country or not? There is some certainly legal framework that guarantee democracy, but some people don't really take advantage of it. Sometimes we overlook such very simple basic things that we find it difficult to judge the situation.
It's like corruption, for example, is very much rife in Indonesia.
Because there are no democratic instruments in place to control that, or perhaps you did not elect properly. You can't have a regulation, for example, if you corrupt $1 only, then the whole family will not be able to run for politics. I'm sure this will be enough to keep politics away from such practice, and everyone will be honest. Or you can hit the person that practices corruption, and you will see how quickly this cures them out of corruption.
But having said that, with all our problems and the corruption, what role do you think Indonesia could play on the world stage?
Well, you are a huge country. You're almost half the size of Europe. I haven't had the sufficient look as yet to properly reply your question, but I certainly can say it's a beautiful country, and such beautiful girls. You have got plenty of natural resources here, and you have to take advantage of it.
We're a member of the G20 now.
You need to know what potentials lie here, and you need to elect the right people to represent you there, so you can really take advantage of that. I haven't come here to instruct in any ways. I come here to talk about available opportunities and to encourage you to take advantage of that.
But what are the opportunities to improve relations between Poland and Indonesia?
Poland is 6 times smaller than Indonesia, but Poland too is the country of huge potential, both human and material.
A więc musimy znać,
So experts from both countries need to communicate to gain potentials from both countries.
bardziej skojarzyć, aby wykorzystali te szanse i te potencjały.
We are a mining and shipbuilding nation and have strong academic background. I think we can investigate whether in these areas there can be some business done between Indonesia and Poland. During my visit here, I have heard there have been some talks regarding this. As a politician and trade union activist, all I can say that I will encourage this kind of relationship going.
How would you like to be remembered in history?
I work hard. I really try to do all I could. But I believe in what I am doing. I believe in God, one and for all mankind.
I find it inspiring that even at the age of 67, Lech Walesa continues to be active and strives to contribute what he could for humanity. His idealism is as strong as ever, as is his desire to spread solidarity around the world. Moreover, he shows himself to keep up with the development of information technology and at home with the latest gadgets, a sign of an open and curious mind.
And finally, on the final note, you were a figure of inspiration not just for Poland but for the entire world, and you helped change the shape of global politics, loosening the shackles of Soviet communism. So what and who drove you? What inspired you? What made you Lech Walesa?
Zawsze miałem problem wybrać, kto jest większym mistrzem.
I have many role models in different disciplines.
Więc mam wielu mistrzów.
Depends in what area. There are role models from moral side, experts in economy, also from president or other political leaders. There is no one single master or role model for me except God.
Poza zasięgiem.
But what drove you? What motivated you to do what you did?
I hold a simple, straightforward religious background. Certainly, I'm not a fanatic. I believe men are made of body and spirit, and it was my spirit that forced my body to do what it did. If I had not my spirit, there would have not been any elements forcing me to do things. So anybody who is lazy should find their spirit in them, then they would become hard workers.
Do you still have the spirit?
Of course, that's why I'm here. Why else would I be talking to you when you ask me all of these tricky questions? Otherwise, if I don't have the spirit, I will be in the swimming pool now or having a glass of wine. Instead, I'm working so hard now being attacked by you from one side, but I'm doing it because I have the spirit.
But what role do you see yourself playing now on the world stage? And what are your main activities now that you're no longer the head of state?
For domestic politics, things have been developing as they should be. But my struggle has been to assist in the integration of Germany and the unification of Europe and globalization. I'm involved in these works because there is no concept yet, and this is neither good or bad, and we can only judge once we find the concept and institutions. And if we fill them with fairness, transparency, solidarity, then everything will be fine. On the other hand, if we fill the concepts with selfishness, cheating, then that will turn out to be a bad concept. My job is to travel around the world to encourage people to build concept with good concept. Before I had been contributing in destroying bad concepts, now I want to contribute in constructing good ones. Hard work, but I'm hopeful we can accomplish it.
How would you like to be remembered in history?
I work hard. I really try to do all I could. But I believe in what I am doing. I believe in God, one and for all mankind. I would like to be remembered like this. Then I will check from up there what they have written about me.
President Walesa, thank you very much for your time. So, what did I take from my face-to-face with Lech Walesa? Well, to begin with, an unwavering conviction and a strong belief can indeed move mountains. And if it takes only the conviction and belief of just one man to change the destiny of a country for the better, imagine what a shared conviction for peace and justice pursued by every one of us could do to create global solidarity. And that's all for tonight's episode. Don't forget to join me next month to meet another influential figure who makes a difference to our world, only on Face to Face with Daisy Anwar, bringing you the world.